I'm getting married." The words hung in the air like a sudden thunderclap. I blinked, my mind racing to catch up. "Huh, you were dating." "Of course I was, dummy. You know I love being in love," Chloe replied with a laughter that sparkled with excitement. Her radiance was unmistakable, and that was the first hint that something was off. "Is it with that guy named Zane, the one with the silent G? You met him at that 3-month yoga retreat in LA, right?" I probed, hoping against hope that it wasn't him. "You know, Zane was an absolute jerk," she snapped, her tone sharp and dismissive. Congrats, I guess. But who's the lucky guy?" I asked, the word unlucky hovering in my mind, begging to be voiced. Chloe beamed as she produced a crisp envelope, a beautiful blend of green and cream adorned with elegant silver calligraphy. I took the wedding invitation, my heart already heavy with dread as I unfolded it. The words leapt out at me like a slap in the face. "You are cordially invited to the wedding of Chloe Hart and Dean Archer." My heart didn't just sink, it plummeted, a lead weight dropping straight through my stomach and out of my body. "Dean Archer," I repeated slowly, letting the name linger on my tongue. "My Dean." Chloe snatched the invitation from my trembling fingers, her eyes sparkling with mischief. "M.Y. Dean," she chirped, her excitement bubbling over. "Isn't it wild, everything just clicked. He came back to New Hope last Christmas and we reconnected and boom, instant chemistry." I stared at her, utterly bewildered, as though she were speaking an entirely different language. Dean Archer was not just any name, he was my college ex. The one who had left me without so much as a proper explanation. The one who had dumped me via a text message on my birthday, shattering my world in an instant. The ex I had never truly managed to get over. The one who had known exactly how to tug at my heartstrings, and then vanished just when I had begun to trust him again. "You're marrying my ex?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper, the weight of disbelief heavy in the air. Chloe rolled her eyes dramatically. "Your ex? Was that even a real relationship? That old fling? Come on, sis." My throat went dry, the words catching like thorns in my chest. Chloe stood up from her spot on the couch, stepping toward me as if to embrace me, but then halted abruptly, her nose wrinkling in delicate horror. "Oh no, I don't think I can hug you. You've got ink on your hands, and I just had this sweater dry cleaned." She was dressed to perfection, sporting a pastel pink cable-knit sweater over a white satin tank top, paired with pressed cream linen pants and ballet flats that looked like they had never seen a scuff. Her blonde hair was tucked into a flawless low bun, every inch of her radiating effortless grace. In stark contrast, I stood in the doorway, a chaotic mess in a rumpled button-down shirt, a charcoal skirt that barely grazed my thighs, one heel clinging to my foot for dear life, and black ink smudged across 3 of my fingers. I stared at her, speechless, my mind racing to process the whirlwind of emotions. Chloe took a sip of her wine, eyeing me with concern. "You okay? You look a little pale. Is it the vertigo again? Maybe skip the champagne toast at the wedding. I'd hate for you to go down during the vows. That would be so embarrassing, Sav. Anyway, you're going to be my maid of honor. Fingers crossed you catch the bouquet. My fiancé has some good-looking friends you could impress." I could only stare at her in disbelief. I left the office in a panic, broke my freaking stiletto, ran 3 red lights, battled with drunk drivers, and nearly crashed my Audi just to get home to you, Chloe. You said it was an emergency. She paused mid-sip, her eyes widening in realization. "Oh, I'm sorry. I had no idea. I just thought you were late because you got distracted by a Zara window again." She giggled, the sound light and airy. "Nope," I replied, my tone flat. "Well, if you did, it would have come in handy now because I'm quite particular about colors, shades, and fabrics," she continued, her voice animated. Rolling my eyes, I interjected, "Let me hear it." "It's green, but not just any green. It's a bit more intense," she explained, her enthusiasm palpable. You mean emerald green? I asked, trying to keep my tone neutral. It's not just emerald green, okay? God, do I look like someone who wears something off the rack? No, it's more like if envy and royalty had a scandalous love child. Think deep forest glimmering with silent judgment. Rich, regal, but also sharp enough to say, don't touch me. Not teal, not moss, not jade. And absolutely not that murky mall green you find in discount bins where your OOTD comes from. This shade says, yes, I've arrived and no, I don't care that you're staring. My mouth hung open, struggling to comprehend her fervor. That's emerald, Chloe, I argued, my patience wearing thin. No, it's not. That's basic. For the fabric, silk, rich silk. Can you afford that, Sav? You're going to be my maid of honor. You have to look presentable enough to play the part. Don't bring your Walmart thrifts to my event. Something snapped within me. If this is how you want to play, then let's play baby sister. Can I bring a date? I shot back, lifting my chin defiantly. She glanced up from her phone, skepticism etched on her face. You haven't had a decent relationship in years. Who could you possibly be bringing? I squared my shoulders, determination flooding my veins. Actually, I've got big news to share too. Wanted to keep it a secret, but now, not so much. You got promoted at work, she guessed, her eyes lighting up with curiosity. I'm engaged, I declared, a triumphant smile spreading across my face. Chloe choked on her sip, her expression morphing into one of disbelief. You. Yes, I'm getting married too, I beamed, my heart racing with a mix of excitement and anxiety. Chloe's face contorted as if her wine had suddenly turned bitter. That's huge. And who's the brave guy? Roman Blackwood, you know, my best friend. He works in finance. I lied, my heart pounding as I said it without a hint of hesitation. Chloe's brows shot up in surprise. Roman, the one who always texts you during family dinners and sends dad cigars at Christmas. That Roman. I forced a smile, doing my best to keep my composure. The very one, we've kept it quiet, didn't want to steal anyone's thunder. Chloe blinked, processing the information. I mean, good for you. I didn't think you were the relationship type, but here we are. Must be something in the air. Must be, I replied, turning toward the kitchen to grab a glass of water, my fingers trembling just enough to clink the glass against the tap. But let's not tell the family just yet. We're still figuring out the timing. You know, Roman is always busy and only gets to take 2 vacations in a year, and I'm always busy booking meetings and controlling schedules. We don't want to get overwhelmed with the whole process. You understand, right? Chloe rose, grabbing her purse, that same serene smile still gracing her face as she headed for the door. Crystal, she said, her voice sweet as honey. I've got you, love you, sis. And just like that, she was gone, leaving behind the lingering scent of her perfume, and a whirlwind of chaos. Almost immediately, my phone began vibrating insistently in my bag. After a frantic search that felt like an eternity, I finally fished it out, only to nearly drop it with a shriek. Chloe had opened her mouth and told literally everyone in our family that I was getting married. The family group chat was exploding with messages. Mom, Dad, our older sister Alyssa, Aunt Janice, Aunt Thelma, Uncle Jace. Literally everyone who had seen me in diapers. Shit. I had to warn Roman. I didn't merely knock on the door. I pounded on it with all the urgency of a storm. Moments later, Roman's door swung open, and there he stood, clad only in a pair of dazzlingly white Calvin Klein boxer briefs, his tousled hair a testament to his deep slumber. I couldn't help but smirk. This was Roman. After all, he often preferred the freedom of nudity while sleeping. Nice boxers, very. Spiritual monk energy you've got going on, I quipped, breezing past him and into the warmth of his apartment. Rubbing the sleep from his eyes, he groaned. It's 1 a.m. Did you set something on fire again? With a swift kick, I shut the door behind me, only to feel the heel of my shoes snap off in the process. "Just my life," I muttered, frustration bubbling beneath the surface. Roman sighed, his expression shifting from sleepy annoyance to concern as he knelt down to help me with my shoes, as he always did without a word of complaint. "Roman, I did something horrible," I confessed, my voice trembling slightly. His face transformed, seriousness replacing the casual demeanor. He moved quickly to the windows, peeking out before shutting them tight, as if we were plotting something illicit. "How bad is it? Do I need to hide a body or bail you out of jail? Be honest," he urged, his tone both teasing and alarmed. "My sister's getting married," I said, breathless, the weight of my words hanging in the air. "I'm lost," he replied, brow furrowing in confusion. "To Dean Archer," I added, my heart racing. Roman's frown deepened. "Wait, the Dean Archer?" I nodded, feeling the gravity of the situation settle over us like a heavy blanket. He paused, his mind racing. "Shit, can she do that? Isn't there a code against that?" "She told me as if she were announcing a partnership at Vogue. In freaking pastel," I replied, rolling my eyes. Roman pulled me into a comforting embrace, his warmth wrapping around me like a shield. "I'm so sorry, love. I'll make popcorn and ice cream. We can watch Scream, and you can call in sick at the office tomorrow," he suggested, his voice soothing. I spun around dramatically, feeling a rush of dizziness as Roman instinctively reached out to steady me, his hand resting firmly at my waist. "Savannah, careful. Vertigo?" he asked, concern lacing his words. I dropped to my knees in the middle of his kitchen, clasping my hands together as if begging for mercy. "Please don't kill me. I lied. I did a very, very bad thing." Roman squinted, his expression a mix of curiosity and concern. "What did you do?" "Say you forgive me first," I insisted, my heart racing. "Savannah." "Say it, Roman, or I'm never getting up." He groaned, exasperated. "Fine, I forgive you. Now stand up before I have to carry you." I stood, brushing myself off, and blurted out, "I told Chloe we're engaged." Roman blinked, his eyes wide in disbelief. "You what?" She was so smug and shiny, waving her invitation card like it was a disco ball, and I panicked. "I told her we've been secretly in love this whole time." He rubbed a hand down his face, exhaling sharply. "You showed up here at midnight to ask me to be your fake fiancé because you lied to your entire family to one-up your sister." "Yes," I replied, feeling the absurdity of it all wash over me. He leaned against the counter, shaking his head in disbelief. "I was supposed to be in Tuscany next week. There are hot models, clubs, parties, cocktails, poolside massages, magnificent D-cups. You know what happens in Tuscany." I batted my lashes, trying to lighten the mood. "You could still have models, just add me to the mix." He shot me a look that was both incredulous and amused. "Savannah." "Roman." "You couldn't have said, like Jake from accounting." "Everyone knows you. You're the only one they know." "That's fair," he conceded, a hint of a smile creeping onto his lips. "The more I think about this, the more ridiculous it sounds," he said, finally walking toward the kitchen. "You fake engaged me to your entire family, to outdo your sister who's marrying your ex, and now we're driving to New Hope to pull off this epic lie." I nodded, my resolve firm. Okay, counteroffer. I give you my next paycheck, just the one. And maybe my soul," he said, half joking, half serious.